The amount of teams and places that are vying for a spot as the NRL's 18th team and the opportunity to grow rugby league. Is it time for promotion and relegation in the NRL? You're thinking, no, there's no way, there's not enough money or anything. Look, it's a concept. I don't think it'll happen, but let's just talk about it. It's the off season. Let's come up with a couple of fantasy ideas to make rugby league better. So how will it work? The first division's going to drop down to 14 teams from 17 that we've got currently, and there will be a second division coming in that will also have 14 teams. Now, the merger clubs would divide back to their original stakeholders, and original clubs gives a couple extra clubs there, but also bringing back this storied histories and stuff of those clubs. So, Division 1 will go as follows: North Queensland Cowboys, Brisbane Broncos, Melbourne Storm, St George Dragons, Newcastle Knights, Canberra Raiders, Western Suburbs Magpies, Parramatta Eels, Penrith Panthers, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, New Zealand Warriors, South Sydney Rabbitohs, Sydney Roosters, and Manly Warringah Seagulls. Now, the second division will go as follows: Illawarra Steelers, North Sydney Bears make a comeback, Western Reds make a comeback, so do the Adelaide Rams, Cronulla Sharks, Gold Coast Titans, Redcliffe Dolphins, not the Dolphins, Redcliffe, the Aotearoa Albatross bringing New Zealand a second team, the Newtown Jets make a comeback, Balmain Tigers, Tasmania Terriers bringing a sporting team to Tasmania, the Hunter Mariners, PNG Hunters, and Pacifica Pelicans. So the idea around, let's just talk about this second division here for a little bit. So the idea around a lot of these teams were North Sydney Bears are one of the most storied clubs in rugby league and looking to make a comeback to rugby league in any which way possible. Western Reds gives us some expansion over the other side of the country. Adelaide Rams allows us to grow in South Australia, but having a second New Zealand team as well, it just helps us compete with rugby a little bit more over there. Bringing back Newtown, it's one of the just the historical clubs of rugby league. So much culture and history around there, and I think they deserve a chance at playing the NRL again. Hunter Mariners. So Newcastle is one of the strongest areas of rugby league in the country. Having two teams around that area, it's going to just create more competition and just more opportunity for growth. Bringing in a team in Tasmania would be unreal. We see how much they get around sport down there whenever they get a team. They love the NBL team down there, and it's just because they have a team. Hobart Hurricanes get so much support as well. I think while AFL is probably their footy code of choice, if you brought in a Tasmanian team, they would get around it so much, and probably AFL would be on the back burner. And there's a whole state dedicated to rugby league, as well as New South Wales and Queensland. Papua New Guinea Hunters, mate. Papua New Guinea have one of, if not the strongest fan bases around NRL, rugby league rather. And it would be so sick to see a team up in Port Moresby get around. The fans would go absolutely nuts every single weekend. And then Pacifica Pelicans as well. 50% of the NRL is Polynesian now, or have Islander heritage. Giving them their own team and facilities and stuff out there to grow, rather than having all these families having to scrape all this money together and moving over to Australia. Let's bring the game to them rather than them having to come to us. I think it'd be unreal. So how will it work? We'll have a 28 round competition with every single team playing each other home and away. The top 8 teams make the finals in Division 1 with 6 missing out. So the bottom 2 teams from the first division face automatic relegation, while 11th and 12th face off in a winner takes all game to avoid relegation. That would be such a sick watch. So in the second division, the top 2 teams automatically go up, with the teams coming from 3rd to 6th facing off in a playoff series as follows. So the winner of 3rd versus 6th goes to the final, and the winner of 4th versus 5th goes to the final. And then the winner of the final is promoted to the first division. Now you're asking the question of why? Well, for the top division, the fear of relegation is going to make teams still be competitive towards the end of the season. We see when there's teams that can't make the finals, they just go out and get rolled over, and it just sucks to watch. And as well, having the fear of becoming 11th or 12th and having to play in avoid a relegation game also strikes fear in a team. There's also a better draw format for the teams, because the way the draw is now just is shit. There's teams versus other teams twice and others once. It's all over the shop and sucks. it should be every single team has to face each other at home and away once. And I know you can't do that now because that's what 32 games rugby league for players. That's too much footy. Their body's going to break down. But and as I said before, it gives the opportunity for growth in areas such as Perth, Adelaide, Tasmania, Papua New Guinea, Pacifica, New Zealand as well. Just really good for rugby league. But yeah, obviously there's so many flaws and little bits you can sort of pick at and be like, well, that doesn't make sense because, for example, we have a look at how are the St. George Dragons and Illawarra Steelers going to split? Who goes where? What players and that sort of thing? Where they're getting paid from? Same as the Balmain Tigers and the Western Suburbs Magpies splitting. Do we then have 3rd, 4th, 5th divisions as well come in? Because what if, for example, Balmain's not a very rugby league area anymore? What if they come last and win 2 games for the next 10 years? You think, well, there's these other teams around Sydney like St. Mary's and stuff that are just ridiculous rugby league places, teams that play like the Royal Massey Cup and stuff. Do they then come up to the 3rd division? What's the go there? There's still a heavy New South Wales contingent here as well. Q Cup's actually good footy. Do we bring some more Queensland teams? Do they come into a 3rd division and stuff to versus each other? Where does the money come from to fund all this? Realistically, who apart from the fans of the clubs are watching Division 2 footy? Obviously, everyone's gonna be watching Division 1, that kind of thing. So obviously, there's a lot of hiccups to this, and realistically, it's never ever gonna happen. We're more likely to have a draft, but I think this would be really sick for rugby league. The A League has just pretty much introduced the fact that they're gonna have A League promotion relegation. So I think, and they're doing it in England, and that works fine. But you also got to look at the population difference between England and Australia. It is a lot. There's just a lot more people, so it's a lot easier to have full teams of squads and that sort of because we're looking at we got 28 teams, all of 30-man rosters at a minimum. That's a lot of players, a lot more than we have now. So, and the depth is an issue at the moment in rugby league. So having a 2nd division sort of sucks as well. In terms of that, how good is the footy going to actually be? But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I think it'd be pretty cool to have a promotion and relegation in rugby league, especially in NRL, in Australia. What do you guys think? I think one thing that I think would be sick is if we did end up having a football pyramid kind of system like they do in the soccer, and then there's just your local club goes from being the 10th division and then they're in the NRL in 15 years time. That'd be sick to see, but it's also then the issue of facilities and stuff as well. We're gonna have 40,000 seater stadiums in every single town? I don't think so. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching again. Cheers, guys.